Hi everyone, my name is Saveli, I am 23 and I'm from Russia. I decided to make a simple video for you, just a little story. For me it's especially difficult to make a video in English. First of all I need to make a script, then record the voiceover, so I can hardly tell you about something right from my mind and improvise, Never mind, today I'm gonna tell you about my worst car ever. But first things first. My worst car was not my first car, it was the second. My first car was a Toyota Corona Premio, or Premio, I don't know, in Russia it's Premio, in your country maybe it's Premio. Anyway, Corona Premio 1998 with 1.8 liter engine. Not such a bad car, it was reliable, especially if you would keep in mind its age. My father gave it to me for my 18th. It was March 11, 2021, and the next day, March 12, I took my new car and drove it to police office to get my license. Why not? By the way, we still own this car. It's still running and even makes some money for us. We rent it out. A very reliable car. Obviously most reliable car ever are Toyota and Lexus. So these cars are highly available in Russia, especially in small remote town like mine. Dealerships are so far, there's not so many car parts and harsh winter. So a car must be reliable in my circumstances. And my Corona Premio it is. But my next car was not. So in May 2024 I wanted a new car. But of course it was not a brand new car, just new for me. My head was set on a powerful old monster, Infiniti FX35. A comfortable car with 3.5 liter and 280 horsepower under the hood. I had looked at 3 cars before I found my option. The first one was with rotten body shell, fenders, rocker panels, just rust was everywhere. The second one was, I forget, honestly, what was wrong with it. And the third one was peeling clear coat, and half of buttons and functions in that car were not working. I have not so bad experience in the choosing of cars. I resold many ones. Now we rent out our cars. So I can see if it is good enough or not. Long story short, and that's time to check out my option. I saw one announcement, then called the seller and I drove to check the car. The outlying district of Irkutsk, Novolenino. It means New Lenin's hood, This car had light brown, almost gold color. A body shell was in its original paint, except one fender. There were no problems with suspension, with engine and gearbox, and I decided immediately, it's my option. Later I derived one rule for me. If you're gonna look at the car in a bad, poor district, so it's likely you will find a bad car. So it's so difficult to find a good car in a bad hood. On that day I called the seller and we negotiated to 675,000 rubles for this car. And now I need to reveal a small secret to you. It was not an Infiniti FX35, but it was practically the same car. Nissan Murano 2003, the first generation Z50. Then it was like $7,500 and now it is like $8,700. Why it's so expensive for a so old car? This is politics of my country. There are some fees for all cars from abroad. Anyway, insane. So, not today about it. Today our topic is my new Nissan Murano. I bought it and got home on it. It was insanely powerful car with 20-inch wheels, right from FX35, while the stock wheels for Murano are 18-inch. On those wheels, by the way, it was not so comfortable, alas, but there was many more problems than just that. Now I should remember all of these troubles. The first one. At one point my RPM dropped. Murano cannot continue the running and stalled. This malfunction was not unbelievably difficult, but I spent approximately 2000 rubles or more to solve it, $300 or more, because I couldn't understand what was wrong. I went to one service, then the next one, then again and again, and finally one smart guy solved it. It was just one of 2 camshaft position sensors. This is V6 engine and there are 2 heads, accordingly 2 sensors. It was already hot spring and summer and when my car started it was okay, but when the engine got hot, so trouble was coming. And you know what? The screw that mounted the sensor was broken and stuck into the cylinder head. So we have mounted the new sensor with the sealant. The next problem is door handle, a driver's door handle. I pulled it and it broke. For the repair I paid 3000 rubles or $35 approximately. But it is not as a small problem as you might think. The main trouble is to find the handle I really need. It's an old 2003 car, my city is not so big, and this Murano was the American version. There was not only American but Japanese Murano and European too. And their handles are different. So just imagine the real scale of trouble. I would not to find my option and take an order from other cities, wait for it for days and drive the car without handle. But fortunately I found it and repaired my car. But the problems were just beginning. The next one is fuel pump, specifically fuel level sensor. It looks like a wine cork on a metal stick with a graphite pencil that runs along the metal track. And over time it wears out. So the needle could show you the volume of your fuel just before the half of the scale. Below it, the needle dropped to empty. So I just couldn't see the real volume of my fuel. It was a number of moments when I got stuck without fuel right on the road. I remember some moment. I drove to one big mall in Irkutsk. I'm cool guy, I flexed my cool car. I rolled my steering wheel and went on turn, but suddenly my car stalled. I anxiously thought, what's wrong with you, what's wrong? But fortunately it was a gasoline station near the mall. I took a canister I had bought earlier for this kind of situation. I poured gasoline in Murano and it started. Just miracle. Finally, I didn't solve this problem, because I couldn't buy the sensors separately, only with a fuel pump. It costs approximately 7000 rubles or $80-90, I guess. There was, by the way, another problem, but now right with the fuel pump. Murano couldn't gain speed. When I pushed the pedal with moderate pressure, it runs slowly and slowly, but when I pushed the pedal into the floor, then it was a rocket. It seemed like something held the car by the tail. It was just full pump. We changed it and Murano started driving normally. How many problems I told you? 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm not done yet. The rear differential. It just didn't work. So my AVD car was the front wheel drive one. To solve it I changed the rear differential and it was okay, but I spent 10,000 rubles, $120. Not so much, but it could be more. Maybe Murano parts are just cheap like that, or I don't know. It was the fifth problem and now the sixth. Are you already tired, isn't it? So, in some moments, Murano was just not started. I turned the ignition, but there was nothing. Just imagine you encounter a kind of problem like this. You cannot diagnose it. There are not some errors. So, what would you do? It all happened that the wire between the fuel pump and computer was broken. It was already tied up with electrical tape, and it was melted. It means the former owner encountered this problem too, like me, and by the way with other problems. He told me that he had replaced the gearbox. It cost then in 2023 approximately 120,000 rubles or $1,300. And finally, let's get it fast. The seventh problem is suspension, which I had to repair. The eighth is hydraulic power steering, once pieced down in the cold winter. The ninth, once I broke one of my springs when I drove into one pothole on the road. The 10th is driver's seat. One small metal bar had broken in it. To find the same and replace it, as you realize, is unbelievable. So we had to weld it 2 times. And 11th is alternator, that broke down twice. And there were yet some troubles and problems. For example, the fuel consumption that was 20 liter per 100 kilometers in winter and no less than 16 liter per 100 in summer. I remember another trouble. A driver's door window. When you opened it down to the end, it may sink into the body of the door. Then you have to disassemble it, fix the glass and assemble it again until the next break. So the last straw was the troubles with my gearbox. At some point I noticed that Murano was accelerating worse than earlier it was. Engine revolutions were the same, but the speed was decreased. It seems like my gearbox worked in emergency mode. In that moment I was really scared. Spending 120,000 rubles or more for the new gearbox, would you like it? But it turned out to be easier than I initially thought. I bought NS2 Nissan original gearbox oil, poured it a half of a liter, and it was okay. But sometimes I seems that something was wrong, and in that moment I decided to sell my Murano. Long story short, I sold it for 505,000 rubles, or $6,300. So, finally I lost about 250,000 or even more. I lost $3,000 in that car, and I was really excited when I sold it. Like I throw a big mountain off my chest, a big relief. It is not so small money in Russia, especially given the fact that here you can even make some money when you sell your old car. Really, you can sell it for more expensive than you bought it. From that point I made this mistake twice. My current car is a Toyota Vitz 2017, 1.3 liter, and it's practically an ideal car. At least he can do what he's supposed to do. After all, I understood that reliability is an important thing. Okay, you want to drive faster and more comfortable, okay, I get it. But when you have a confidence in your car, it's a great feeling. When you are sure that you can jump in your car in any time and drive 4,000 kilometers on it, when you get in it and sure that he will start, and when you're sure that it isn't a big deal to repair it. So, can I give you some advices? Listen up. 1. Don't buy an old car. 2. Don't buy an old premium. Take something newer but not so complicated, without this huge amount of options that you won't use, and without big engine who drinks gas like Chinese drinks bubble tea. 3. Buy a car that has liquidity in the market. When you are a young guy who haven't so much money, it's possibly you will change your cars pretty often. So, you should buy this car that you can sell fast and without big losses of money. 4. Buy some car that you would be used to work in taxi. Why not? Again, when you are a young guy, it would be some troubles with work, you may need some money urgently, and it would be great to have another way to make money. And 5. The last advice is put your eyes on Toyota and Lexus. Two most reliable brands in the whole world, trust me. Our severe Siberian exploitation prove it, and no one time. And that's all for today. Thank you for listening.